Jason, for better or worse, you get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
For what you did initially. Is that odd? Here we are 5 years later, and sort of you're known as the guy that arrested the defendant.
That is very odd, yes. I mean, I think realistically, I was more part of a massive effort to deal with a problem, and I was just one of the people that was on one side of the building.
You've sort of gone over this. I'm not going to have you rehash it, but is it just happened to be there? He happened to be there. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say there was any real strategic plan to go to that side of the building for me. I went to the back of the building because when I was approaching the theater, I was coming down Sable Boulevard, and that's the side that is next to Sable.
Were you surprised as any to learn that that was the shooter?
When I first saw him, I thought he was a cop until I got a little closer to him, and I was. It's one of those things you can't really process quickly, even while on one level I realized that this is a suspect, because at the time we were still thinking that there were multiple shooters. Even at the time where you're thinking this is someone who's involved, there's another part of your brain that's just totally unable to recognize that.
Would you call him cooperative, or what would be the proper term?
I would say he surrendered. Yeah, I would say he surrendered. He gave up.
Do you ever think about why that happened, or are you done thinking about it?
I wouldn't say I'm done thinking about it. I would say that I don't think I'll ever have a good answer, and I don't think wondering what was in his mind is something that's worth losing any more sleep over, you know?
So let's talk about something better. Talk about the work of your colleagues that night. Work of you and countless other police officers. When you look back 5 years, what are you left with?
It's I'm really impressed with the people who made the decision to evacuate to the hospital in patrol cars, and I'm really impressed with the people who did that and made multiple trips back and forth. I've spoken with ER doctors who told me that that saved lives. It's easy to destroy things and to destroy people, and that's what he did. And there's lives that will never be the same because of him, but I'm glad that I could be a part of something that minimized his effect, that took away from the damage that he tried to do and the damage that he did.
Do you think there were heroes that night?
I don't really like that word. I think that there were a lot of people that were trying hard to do the right thing, to do the best they could with a horrible situation. I think there were a lot of people doing the best they could, and I think that it went better than we could expect from something like this.
How are you doing?
Mostly pretty good. Every once in a while, when I think about it, sort of go into this this dark place for a couple of days, but I think that overall, I've been pretty successful in not letting this affect me too much. I think I've done good as far as not letting this take away from things that I enjoyed before that night. Like I was saying earlier, I loved the movies before, I love the movies now. I spent the whole next day talking to my best friend about it, and really getting a lot of the toxicity out early. And so it's, you know, it's always there. You can always go back to it and always remember, you know, sort of always relive it a little bit, but it's not really hanging over my shoulder where I have to all the time, you know.
But it comes up. Probably, maybe it's times when you expect it, and maybe times when you don't.
Yeah, it comes up every year, and it comes up just sometimes, you know.
What's 5 years going to mean then for you?
5 years isn't going to mean anything that 4 years didn't, or that 6 years won't. It's just going to be. It's just going to be another day, and I'll either think about it or dwell on it for a while, or I'll avoid that.
Is there anger that one individual had this ripple effect for so many people, whether it was the physical injuries of people that you helped that night, and that, you know, still seeing colleagues that are still struggling with this?
Yes, I'm. Like I said before, it's easy to destroy things, and it's easy to destroy people. I'm comfortable with that knowledge. What I'm angry about is that somebody chose to for no reason.
You testified at trial.
Several times.
You've not really, besides that, publicly talked about this. Why talk about it? Why feel the need to talk to us, talk to Anastasia?
Because I think that people should have their questions answered. Because I think that I can understand why people might want to know what some of us are thinking and what some of us are feeling, and I guess I'm in a place where I can answer those questions.
There's some people who can't. There are plenty of colleagues I think would. How? I mean, give me an idea. I mean, this is not a broken department by any stretch.
No.
But how much are people still sort of dealing with this in their own ways? Maybe potentially still struggling with this.
I think there's really a broad range as far as that goes. I think that people are in the department are doing well. You know, I don't think that. I don't think that it's had no effect, but I don't think that it's crippled us either. You know, there's a broad range. Some people had a much harder time dealing with it, but there's plenty of people on the department now that weren't even hired yet when it happened, and are, you know, hearing about it in the academy from the perspective of someone that wasn't there. So it's, I mean, the department's growing, and the department's healing just like the rest of the community.